Good afternoon. Many thanks to Finn Gra and Alexandra Sendulescu, two students from the Conservatorium who treated us to performances on the organ and saxophone earlier. Welcome, everyone. Excellencies, Governor, Mayor, distinguished guests. Dear colleagues, students, and all the plus ones who have joined us today. Because since this year is all about connecting people, students, staff, alumni, residents of Maastricht and Limburg, and everyone who cares about this university, we have invited members of the community in attendance to bring someone along. And we are standing here on historic grounds. On 9 January 1976, Queen Juliana signed the founding charter of our university right here, in the beautiful Basilica of Saint Servatius, or as we call it, Saint Servais. That is why we have chosen to gather here today. To look back together to 50 years of Maastricht University, in the very place where it all began. And this remarkable building has a history that reaches back many, many centuries. As the oldest church in the Netherlands, the Saint Servais Basilique has long been a place where people come together at meaningful moments. On behalf of the parish priest of the Basilica, Dean Doutzenberg, the church board of Saint Servais, and the Servais community, I would like to once again warmly welcome you all here. And of course, we are deeply honored that His Majesty the King will join us later in the program. When His Majesty arrives, the ceremony will briefly pause to mark his entrance. Today, on the 50th Dies Natalis, the anniversary of our university, we take a moment to reflect. Because as a community, each of us can be proud of these 50 years. At the same time, this milestone gives us confidence to keep moving forward, connected to society, to our city and region, and to one another. Today and throughout all of 2026, this celebration belongs to all of us. So let's enjoy it together.
"50 jaar geleden waait er een nieuwe wind door Maastricht. In een stad vol eeuwenoude echo's kiest een groep pioniers voor iets wat nog niet bestaat.
Het is niet de opdracht geweest aan deze commissie om alleen maar een medische faculteit te stichten hier, maar een medische faculteit in het kader van een hier te ontwikkelen universiteit.
Ik durf stellen dat de vernieuwing die wij nastreven zal bijdragen tot verbeteren van de relaties tussen universiteit en samenleving, met behoud van traditionele universitaire waarden.
Een nieuwe vorm van onderwijs. Probleemgestuurd. Onderzoekend. Eigenzinnig. Zo begint het verhaal van de Universiteit Maastricht.
Met groot genoegen verklaar ik de Rijksuniversiteit Limburg geopend.
De universiteit groeit met oog voor de wereld om zich heen. Ze wortelt in Limburg, in de Euregio, in Europa. Door de jaren heen vinden medewerkers en studenten uit alle windstreken hier een thuis. Zij vormen het kloppende hart van de universiteit. Ze verbinden, ze drijven aan, ze laten groeien. Onzichtbaar soms, onmisbaar altijd. De universiteit is een hechte gemeenschap. Een gemeenschap die open staat voor verbinding. Die de straten vult met dromen en nieuwsgierigheid. Waar iedereen telt, waar iedereen bijdraagt. Waar iedereen mee mag bouwen. Van student tot stadsgenoot. Want deze universiteit is nooit af. Samen zorgen we voor een mooiere en menselijkere wereld. ...50 jaar Universiteit Maastricht. Op naar de 100.
Dear guests, today's program looks a little different from previous years, and for good reasons. We will be awarding not one, not two, but 3 honorary doctorates. In the first part of the ceremony, we will award 2 scientific honorary doctorates, followed later by a societal honorary doctorate. We begin with the honorary doctorate from the Faculty of Health, Medicine and Life Sciences, our oldest faculty. We are honored to award this doctorate to Professor Peter Stenvinkel, with Professor Strauss as promoter. Professor Stenvinkel works across disciplines and connects health to some of the most pressing global challenges of our time. After this first honorary doctorate, we have a very special musical intermezzo. And I won't reveal anything just yet, but I promise you will recognize it immediately. We then continue with the honorary doctorate from the Faculty of Law, which will be awarded to Mr. Roger Cox, with Professor Ollards and Professor Broderick as promoters. Roger Cox's work has helped bring questions of climate responsibility firmly into the legal domain.
The honorary doctorate is an exceptional distinction awarded to those who dare to spark change and open new directions in science, culture, or society. Professor Peter Stenvinkel is one of them. Through his groundbreaking research and pioneering work, he deepens and expands the fields of planetary and climate health.
Peter Stenvinkel is a clinician, he's a nephrologist, but he brings in different expertises together. What can we learn from nature and what can we bring to the patient to increase health span? And I give you an example. So an elephant is a very big animal, but it has a lot of cell division, but it doesn't develop cancer. What can we extract from that to bring to the patient and bring to the general public?
Peter's approach to science is very broad. He's a real polymath, you can say. Peter has written a very nice book in which he also teaches us actually to live more, to learn more from planetary health. And he's also fairly optimistic in this regard.
He once told me that it is still time to change how the world is now declining.
And he gives us directions how we could proceed in the future. He's absolutely a fantastic scientist, a very nice person, and I'm very happy that he has received this honor.
After consultation with the University Council, the Board of Deans of Maastricht University is proud to present an honorary doctorate to Professor Peter Stenvinkel. May I invite Professor Stenvinkel, along with the promoter, Professor Scholz, to come forward.
Dear colleagues, esteemed guests, as a clinician and a scientist at the Karolinska Institute, Professor Stenvinkel has fundamentally changed how we view chronic kidney disease. His work shows that kidney failure is not merely a problem of filtration, but a systemic condition driven by inflammation, metabolic deregulation, malnutrition, and accelerated aging. And these insights have changed clinical thinking globally and improved the lives of countless patients. Over the past 50 years, the global burden of chronic diseases, including chronic kidney disease, has more than doubled. At the same time, our planet has warmed by more than 1 degree. Ecosystems are under strain and lifestyles have changed dramatically. And Peter was among the first to recognize that these are not parallel crises, but deeply connected ones. He invites us to learn from nature to inspire healthcare solutions. His message is both scientifically rigorous and hopeful, that by reconnecting human health with ecological health, we may find wiser and more sustainable paths forward. Dear Peter, this vision resonates strongly with our faculty and the Climate Health Institute that we recently established by joining forces of all of our research institutes, the Educational Institute and the clinic. Like your approach, the Institute starts from the understanding that climate change is not only an environmental issue, but a health issue, shaping chronic disease, vulnerability, and inequality. And your career exemplifies exactly the kind of integrative thinking this Institute stands for, bridging medicine, environment, prevention, and responsibility. And in recognition of your scientific excellence, your clinical compassion, your pioneering role in planetary health, and your deep alignment with FHML values, you will receive this honorary doctorate. Going to do like this. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So, okay. Very easy to have this one. Okay. There we go.
They practiced.
So, this one. Good luck. Please. The certificate. Jij kan het aan de andere kant willen, zodat jij staat voor de foto.
Je moet de formule nog uitspreken. Je moet de formule nog uitspreken.
Dan moet ik deze hebben. By the authority vested on me by law, in conformity with the decision of the Board of Deans, I hereby conferred upon you, Peter Stenvinkel, the degree of Doctor Honoris Causa, and all the rights deriving there from law and tradition. As evidence of this, I present to you the degree certificate signed by the rector, the promoter and dean of the Faculty of Health, Medicine and Life Sciences, affixed with the seal of the university, and I put already on your shoulder the kappa, which signifies the honor bestowed upon you.
Faculty, distinguished colleagues and friends, receiving an honorary doctorate is an humbling experience. It is also unsettling because you are expected to say something wise, memorable, and preferably in only 5 minutes. I will do my best on at least once of these. I would like to begin with a story from far away, Yosemite National Park in California. I was doing a day hike when I met a park ranger and we began to talk about the many bears in the park. Just talking about these potentially very dangerous creatures felt safe enough. But then the ranger mentioned, almost in a passing, that bears do not pee for 5 to 6 months during hibernation. As a kidney doctor, I can tell you that this is not a casual fact. It is an existential challenge. In my clinical world, if you do not urinate even for a single day, serious conversations begin among doctors. Yet here was a sleeping bear with kidney failure, losing neither muscle nor bone mass, and do not develop vascular disease. Meanwhile, my human patients struggle with exactly these complications despite the best of modern medicine. Standing there in a national park, my medical certainty quietly unraveled. And in that moment, I encountered a powerful insight. Nature knows things we have not yet learned to master. And that insight led me to the field of biomimetics, the study of how nature solutions refined over millions of years can inform human innovation. Nature is our oldest model, measure, and mentor. And once you start paying attention, you realize that nature has been remarkably inventive during evolution. Bats tolerate viruses that devastate humans. Elephants are resistant to cancer. Greenland sharks live their life in a slow motion for at least 400 to 500 years. Giraffes function perfectly with blood pressures that would terrify any physician. And the jellyfish escape death altogether and is practically immortal. We should not forget that nature continuously provides doctors with potent new drugs. The molecule that provides the basis for Ozempic was originally discovered in the saliva of a lizard. There are many libraries of medical solutions in nature. We are living in both the best and worst of times. Medical science has made extraordinary progress, extending lives, reducing suffering. But at the same time, climate change, biodiversity loss, and environmental degradation are accelerating and placing those very gains at risk. And from a medical perspective, I tell you that these are not distant threats. They are already visible in rising burden of lifestyle diseases linked to heat stress, air pollution, and food insecurity. And at the same time, nature offers strategies shaped by evolution under extreme conditions, conditions similar to those we now create for ourselves on the planet. Ignoring studies of such strategies would be a major mistake. In order to find future drugs and health solutions formed during evolution, we must protect biodiversity. Biodiversity is not an environmental luxury. It's the very foundation of human health. Biodiversity supports our food systems, medicines, clean air and water, climate regulation, and psychological well-being. The way we produce our food is currently the major driver of biodiversity loss. Food is the single strongest level to improve human health and environmental sustainability. A radical transformation of the global food system is urgently needed, and the responsibility does not lie only with governments or institutions. It lies, quite literally, on our own plates. The growing intersection of climate change, health, and inequality tells us that siloed thinking and research no longer works. Future researchers must collaborate across disciplines, communicate with society, and manage uncertainty. And remember, it is only when a university lives the change it teaches, transformation accelerates. I see this honorary doctorate as a recognition of the importance of connecting the dots between nature, the environment, and medicine. And if you ever doubt that solutions do exist in nature, I invite you to remember this. Somewhere on this fragile planet, there is a bear not peeing, a shark that refused to age, and a jellyfish that never die. Nature has been solving complex medical and environmental problems for millions of years. The question before us is whether we are ready to use nature's intelligence in science and start to connect the dots before it is too late. I'd like to thank Maastricht University, my friends here, Leon Schörgers, Tilman Hacking, Jerome Koman, and Annemie Scholz. Thank you.
It's a great honor for my orchestra and the Mastreechter Staar and for me to play here this afternoon in this beautiful church. It's very special for me to be here in this church because my whole youth I was a member of the church choir. I was the highest soprano. With these fantastic festivities, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to play now for you the most festive music ever composed.
I told you. What a wonderful surprise and a great, great honor to enjoy this performance here today. Thank you, André Rieu, the Johan Strauss Orchestra, and the Mastreechter Staar. I practiced this one, the last one, yeah?
honorary doctorate is a symbolic bridge between academic life and society. It honors those who deepen public debate and dare to accelerate social progress. Roger Cox is one such voice. Through his pioneering legal work, he secured a lasting place for climate justice in global legal and academic discourse.
What Roger did was revolutionary. He used existing legal principles like tort law and human rights law to tackle the global problem of climate change. He did the first successful climate case against a state in the world, and that success spawned hundreds, if not thousands, of other cases. Roger showed that tackling climate change is not a political choice, but a legal duty.
And that's his contribution, I think, that he made clear that it's just not a debate, but already an existing framework of rules.
Roger is a perfect example of how one person can make a difference through hard work, focus and determination. He's an outstanding lawyer, he's a strategist, he's a concerned citizen, he has a deep love for nature and all living beings.
He's driven by love. Roger is an excellent lawyer, a very good strategist and a very nice colleague.
After consultation with the University Council, the Board of Deans of Maastricht University is proud to present an honorary doctorate to Mr. Roger Cox. May I invite Roger Cox, along with the promoters Professor Broderick and Professor Olaerts, to come forward.
Mr. Cox, we would like to congratulate you with this honorary doctorate that you received today for your valuable and excellent contribution to climate justice. As a leading lawyer in the Urgenda case, a case which was just mentioned that served as an inspiration for many comparable court cases, your work has raised many critical questions, not only on the role of governments and the role of companies in protecting human rights and the environment, but in many ways your work has also reimagined the law. Your work shows that where politics fail, the law not only may be used in the fight against climate change, but it must be used. In your own words, only the law can save us now. And your work is not restricted to the courtroom. It has had a lasting and deep influence on the societal as well as the academic debate. And what we find most inspiring is that you also reinvented yourself as a lawyer. You first took some time to write a book called Revolution Justified, in which you set out your strategy for the use of law as an instrument for change. And it is exactly that strategy that you later on used in the many court cases that followed.
We are very honored to be able to bestow this award on you today, Mr. Cox. We are standing here 10 years after the Urgenda ruling and 15 years after the publication of your very insightful book. We can say with certainty that you yourself have made the real and much needed change about which you wrote in that book. The revolution was certainly justified. It is definitely not over, this revolution, but thanks to all the important groundwork that you yourself have carried out, it is well underway. The seeds for your inspirational work came in this region of Maastricht, where you were raised, where you developed your love for nature, as we just saw, and where you continue to work as a lawyer. In light of these origins in this region, and also in light of your inspirational work both in the courtroom and outside the courtroom in the world of publishing, we see you as a true ambassador for the city of Maastricht, in fact. There is no doubt that your work has served and can continue to serve as an inspiration for many aspiring lawyers, but many of our students as well here at Maastricht University and beyond. To conclude, we hope that this honorary doctorate can serve as a boost for your very worthy cause in the fight for climate justice. We want to wholeheartedly thank you and congratulate you for all of your work, and to extend our warm congratulations to your family and to the team at Paulussen Advocaten on the occasion of this worthy achievement.
Thank you.
By the authority vested in me by law, and in conformity with the decision of the Board of Deans, I hereby confer upon you, Roger Cox, the degree of Doctor Honoris Causa, and all the rights deriving therefrom by law and tradition. As evidence of this, I present to you in a minute the degree certificate signed by the rector, the Dean of the Faculty of Law, Professor Broderick, and myself, and affixed with the Great Seal of the University. And we will put on your shoulders the kappa, which signifies the honor that is bestowed upon you.
Excellencies, esteemed Rector Magnificus, members of the Board of Deans, esteemed promoters, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor to accept the honorary doctorate bestowed on me today, and I wish to express my gratitude to Maastricht University and to Professor Olaerts and Professor Broderick for promoting me, and to Professor Smits and the legal faculty for nominating me. I would also like to thank a few other people, but will do so at the end of my short talk. Allow me to take you back in time to 1988, to the United Nations Climate Conference of that year. At the end of this climate conference, a joint final statement was issued by the participating countries. The statement warned that the ultimate consequences of the use of fossil fuels could only be surpassed by the consequences of a global nuclear war. Thus, governments and industries were called upon to move away from fossil fuels. Today, we have to conclude that we have not succeeded. The average temperature of the Earth has now risen by 1.3 degrees Celsius. And as a result, severe forest fires and floods have become commonplace worldwide, as have prolonged heat waves, droughts, and other extreme weather events. Without drastic intervention in the fossil fuel sector, global warming will continue to rise to an increase of about 3 degrees Celsius this century alone. And this is a level of warming whose consequences could indeed only be surpassed by those of a global nuclear war. Climate change and a nuclear war are both extraordinary dangers and of a much more serious nature than other threats such as conventional wars, pandemics, and economic crisis. However, many people find it difficult to imagine that climate change, like a nuclear war, is truly on a different scale. And this is understandable, because we are still far from seeing the consequences of today's increased CO2 concentration. It is because land surface, oceans, and ice masses react very, very slowly to an increase of CO2 in the atmosphere. And this inertia means that many climate impacts happen with a delay of decades or even more. And as a result, we will only begin to experience the real consequences of the CO2 emissions to date in the second half of this century. Climate change is therefore a slow, insidious, and latent force, but one that will slowly result in a global destruction comparable to that of a nuclear war. If a global nuclear war was like falling into a bath of boiling water, then climate change is like being stuck in a bath that is slowly getting hotter and hotter on its way to the boiling point. And that boiling point is inevitable unless the fossil fuel tap is turned off as quickly as possible. The good news is that we surely can phase out fossil fuels. Sustainable solutions that benefit all of us are available. And renowned organizations such as the International Energy Agency, the International Monetary Fund, and the European Central Bank tell us that achieving the Paris goals is better for the economy, better for financial stability, better for energy affordability, and better for energy security. Weaning ourselves off fossil fuels is therefore both an ecological and an economic win. Why then are we not acting accordingly, you may ask? And that is a good question. And there's a clear answer to that question. According to scientific and historical research, the fossil fuel industry and their lobby groups have been the main stumbling block to an adequate climate approach. For decades, they have combined their PR and lobbying power to influence political and public awareness. They denied and downplayed the climate problem, presented sustainable solutions as unfeasible, shifted responsibility from companies to consumers, and labeled the phasing out of fossil fuels as unrealistic and as economic suicide. Decades of political and public influence by the fossil fuel industry have made their narratives commonplace among many in society, even though they are demonstrably false. As a society, we seem to have difficulty distinguishing fact from fiction. And the fiction presented by the fossil fuel industry is often taken as a fact. Fortunately, judges pass their judgments based on facts and not based on fiction. And this fact-based approach determines to a large extent the success of climate litigation cases. To be able to work on these cases together with my clients and colleagues is an honor and a privilege. At the same time, it is only fair to say that it is mentally demanding work. Every day, we are confronted with the ample evidence that we are destroying the beauty and livability of our planet on an unprecedented scale, that we are rapidly losing animal and plant species, as well as landscapes and cultures, that we are pushing the world's poor further into poverty, and that we face a future that is too painful to imagine if we do not take drastic action. And this daily confrontation with what we are losing and are in danger of losing affects us deeply. But at the same time, it is good to be moved by what is being lost. It shows we feel connected with all life on Earth, and it is an expression of care for what is defenseless and has no voice. Nature, the poor, children, and future generations. They need our protection the most, and their needs are worth fighting for every day. This insight helps me to continue this work with full and utter commitment. And the honorary doctorate from Maastricht University also strengthens my determination to continue this work. It's an honorary doctorate that I accept with great gratitude, but also with great humility, because I do not do this work alone, but with highly socially engaged organizations such as Milieudefensie, Agenda, and the Belgian association Klimaatzaak, and with the highly committed and knowledgeable colleagues from my climate litigation team, Mieke Rij, Funs van Diem, and Pim Heemskerk. Also, I would like to thank my law firm, Paulussen Advocaten, that has supported me on my road towards climate litigation since 2007. And last but not least, I would like to thank my wife and children who give me the greatest possible support every day to continue doing what needs to be done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dear guests, earlier today I had the pleasure of awarding the 2025 Bachelor's Student Prizes to 18 bachelor students during a dedicated ceremony. Through short videos, their supervisors gave us a glimpse into the students, these topics, and of their work, and it was impressive. Now, alongside these bachelor's student prizes, Stichting Wetenschapsbeoefening Uyen annually honors 1 or 2 master's students from each faculty for outstanding academic performance. The distinction recognizes the quality of their thesis and includes a €500 prize and an official certificate. And we are proud to introduce the 8 recipients of the 2025 Master Student Prizes.
Seeing is knowing. Therefore, we evaluated the photon-counting CT as a non-invasive way to image small brain vessels that are usually invisible on routine scans. This could improve the detection of small vessel strokes and guide future microvascular therapies.
My thesis explores our internal displacement and tenure insecurity in the Philippines, where this is a serious issue, affect people's ability to integrate into society. Using national survey data and expert interviews, it offers evidence to support durable policy solutions for communities at risk of repeated displacement.
After a heart attack, every second counts. I developed an AI method that can early foresee the level of brain recovery with just 24 hours of data. AI is here to stay, so it's up to us whether we live for it or let it help us live better.
In today's digital age, investors increasingly turn to social media to interpret financial information. This raises the question of whether such information can actually lead market outcomes or merely reflect them. In my research, I identify initial evidence that such information merely reflects market movements, but rarely leads them.
Alzheimer's research mostly focuses on one part of our brain when investigating cognitive decline, the hippocampus. But have you also heard of the mammillary bodies? I showed that changes in this tiny area can predict cognitive decline in individuals at risk, which could help to spot the disease sooner.
I created a new way to measure how strongly people follow social norms. This helped me show how changing norms about the radical right in Germany created a cycle between what voters want and what parties offer, turning hidden sympathy for the AfD into open support.
A few US companies currently dominate AI, but what's the role of Europe and smaller companies? My research explored novel empirical data, interviewed AI experts, and also reviewed gaps in EU competition law which could make the EU lag behind in the AI race.
I developed a predictive model to estimate cardiorespiratory fitness without the need for intensive testing on bikes like these. Because fitness is an overall marker of health, this helps health professionals assess risk more easily.
Wow. Impressive, isn't it? May I please ask all winners to come forward? This really is a moment of fame, right? If you are introduced like that. So it doesn't often happen, so enjoy it. Well done to all of you, and your work really reflects your dedication, your hard work, your talent, so enjoy today. And now we also have, I think, yes, there we go, we have flowers for each of you before we take a picture. I will go here. Congratulations, Yannick. Congratulations, Tim. Jona. Ilse, well done. Congratulations, Daphne. Chiara, well done. Adolfo, congratulations, very well done. And last but not least, Anna, congratulations. The photographer is right there. Yes, please. Well done, we are really proud of you. We're proud of so much talent at our university. Now, dear guests, we are waiting for a very special moment. I'm waiting for a sign for our president, our mayor, our governor, and the dean of St. Servaas to move to the entrance of the Basilica to welcome our special guest, His Majesty the King, as our guest of honor. Together, we will follow on the screens the arrival of His Majesty the King outside the Basilica, followed by the signing of the Basilica's commemorative document. I kindly invite you to rise if you are able to. At the moment, His Majesty the King enters the Basilica to join us.
blij dat u even tijd had vandaag. Echt belangrijk werk. Fantastisch. Ik ben heel blij dat u toch hier kunt zijn vandaag. Welkom. Dank u wel. Dank u dat we in uw huis mogen zijn. Ja, hè? Ja. Is dat de laatste?
Welcome, Your Highness. The university asked me to be a professor. They told me you will have only one student, and that's you, Your Highness. They asked me to teach you the Maastricht dialect. And you know, lesson 1 you had already on the Vivroplein, you remember. Today is lesson 2. It's a series of 20 lessons. It's difficult. Yeah, but we start very slow. You only need to say 2 words, breed and lang. Would you please say breed? Okay, now in Maastricht, breid. Ja. En nu lang. Lang. A little bit longer. Lang. Okay. Now we put it on music and we all help him.
Welcome, Your Majesty. We are very honored by your presence and warmly welcome you to this celebration. And thank you, André, Rieu, and the Johan Strauss Orchestra. It was a perfect choice to play the coronation waltz with our king among us. Your Majesty, honored guests, thank you very much for joining us in the celebration of the 50th Dies Natalis of our university. On this special occasion, I would like to reflect on what Maastricht University is, where we have come from, and what we want to be. 50 years ago, Queen Juliana signed the founding charter for a small medical faculty meant to revive a deindustrializing province. Since then, has grown into a university with 23,000 students and 5,000 staff members across 6 faculties, with over 100,000 alumni and with a community drawn from well over 100 countries. Of course, we can only look back from a vantage point shaped by the last 50 years of creating something entirely new, something different. in 2026 and all of our success was never a given. There was resistance to starting the Rijksuniversiteit Limburg in the first place, and calls to close it after a couple of years. There was and still is constant resistance against expansion and ongoing political pressure to abandon the international character that made us who we are. We had to justify and fight for our existence. We had to be resilient. We had to innovate in order to compete. We had to find, or even invent, the niche we have thrived in. This spirit of innovation, resilience, and openness shapes us to this day. This should serve as a source of pride and inspiration going forward. Every day, we choose what kind of university this will be in the next 50 years. Let's continue to choose innovation, courage, and openness. Now, it's normal to get caught up in worrying about the next grant application, new course, or having to give a speech to a large crowd of professors, mayors, and kings. No, only me? Anyhow, at times like these, we should take a moment to look at the bigger picture, to zoom out and see that there isn't just tomorrow or the end of the semester. There are also 50 years. 50 years of making a difference. 50 years of history that show that what we do is much bigger than our day-to-day concerns. I have grown a little bit allergic to the word impact, and I'm not comfortable with the phrase making the world better, because it implies that I'm running around fighting crime after hours, which clearly I'm not. Making connections is the phrase I prefer for our university. We are an integral part of our region and our city. And we are an integral part of many lives. connects our highly diverse community, and it connects academia and the society we ultimately serve. Connecting with and giving back to society does not just mean finding useful applications for research results. It means taking the challenge people in our region face as the inspiration for research and education in the first place. Impact follows naturally, from health interventions to initiatives on economic development, heritage protection, or cross-border collaboration. And let us not forget all the alumni who have discovered their talent, passion, and purpose here. All of them make a difference, whether they are lawyers, teachers, civil servants, or have started companies. has preserved and filled with life many historical buildings here in Maastricht. Many cultural institutions, cafes, and shops have emerged or have been kept alive thanks to the thousands of young people we have brought to the city. And beyond Maastricht, a regional network of innovation, entrepreneurship, and industry has evolved, such as the Brightlands campuses in Sittard-Geleen, Venlo, and Heerlen. is also a global ambassador to Limburg's culture. At any given time, a grandparent in Portugal, Canada, Indonesia, or Ghana is Googling fly. connects Limburg with our regional partners in Liège, Aachen, Hasselt. Our academic networks, such as Young Universities for the Future of Europe, as well as our alumni, connect Maastricht with the entire world. I have already confessed to my queasiness around grandiose language. But as you can see, already embodies the values of a fifth-generation university. By that, I mean that beyond education, research, innovation, and entrepreneurship, we are looking to create deep societal impact from sustainability to digital integration. Because of our history, because we have been established to ameliorate a specific set of problems in our region, a problem-based university, if you so wish, I think has been such a fifth-generation university long before the term was a thing, not in addition to, but through education and research. And in all this, we mustn't forget that we are a university. As an organization, we can be an operational example, but our only real way of making a difference is teaching and research. Here, we need to stay true to academic values, from freedom to responsibility and integrity. For most of you, that goes without saying, and yet it needs saying. For these academic values are under attack now, perhaps more than at any time during the last 50 years. Around the world, and yes, increasingly also in the Netherlands, political interference and societal pressure are limiting academic freedom and education and research. Polarization, protests, and self-censorship on campuses threaten open debate and innovation. We have to, and we can, face these challenges in the hard-won spirit of resilience and openness that make us who we are. 50 years is a milestone, not the finish line. This joyous occasion should motivate us to continue to fight for our values. Of course, we have many ambitions, and we will use this lustrum year to work on our vision for UM's future. As always, we will try to involve people beyond our university community. In the first video, you heard Harmen Tiddens, UM's first rector, say that connecting university and civic society was a part of our foundational idea. And so, I want to call on all of you, whether you work here or whether you or a family member has studied here, whether your business is powered by our community, or whether a family member has signed this university into existence, whether you have benefited from innovation developed here, or whether you just enjoy the influence we've had on this city and region. Under um50.maastrichtuniversity.nl, you can suggest projects and events that connect with the city and region. We offer small grants for initiatives that make UM's education and research accessible to a broad public. Maastricht University belongs to us all. And to our community, I want to say this. I know everyone here is very busy with making impacts and connections, by providing and facilitating the best possible education, by conducting groundbreaking research, or by contributing in 1,000 other ways. I know you will be thinking about that for most of the year, and we genuinely appreciate and thank you for that. You make this university what it is, as have those who have come before you. And yet, this is a special year. So every now and then, let's appreciate how far we have come and how we and those around us get to make a unique contribution to something truly special. Congratulations to all of you. Gefeliciteerd allemaal.
We now move on to another very special moment in this ceremony, the awarding of the honorary doctorate for societal achievements. And after consultation with the University Council, the Board of Deans of Maastricht University, we are very proud to present an honorary doctorate to Mirjana Spoljaric Egger, President of the International Committee of the Red Cross. Through her leadership, the Red Cross is able to carry out extraordinary work at the moments when it matters most. Impartial, principled, and active both across borders and close to home.
The Societal Honorary Doctorate is a tribute to individuals who strengthen solidarity and enable social progress. Mirjana Spoljaric Egger embodies that ideal. After decades of diplomatic and international experience, she now leads the International Committee of the Red Cross as president, at the forefront of global humanitarian action. Her vision, expertise, and compassion give direction and momentum to this essential work.
The ICRC becomes active in times of conflict. Organizations like these are important because they are neutral and have access to both parties involved in a conflict. The ICRC has the same basic fundamental principles as the Red Cross. We try to help everyone and especially those who need it the most.
The work of the ICRC is really important to societies. They support in times of crisis and conflict, but the Red Cross work also locally here in Maastricht is very important. Through our volunteers, we are equipped to provide first aid in times of crisis like the floods.
I associate the International Committee of the Red Cross with helping people and giving out medical assistance in areas of conflict. But most of all, I associate it with the word respect. Respect for the volunteers and the people who work there, who kind of give room to the organization to grow.
Emergencies can happen everywhere, and I take pride in that I can help others here.
It's an incredible honor that Maastricht University can give Mirjana this honorary doctorate for all the amazing work she has done abroad in these areas of conflict.
Please, may I invite you to come forward? Please come. Ladies and gentlemen, dear Mirjana, in a world where armed conflict is once again on the rise, where humanitarian principles and legal norms are too often ignored, bent, or deliberately violated, moral leadership is no longer an abstract ideal. It's an urgent necessity. And today we honor a person who embodies that moral leadership with clarity, with courage, and with perseverance. Since 2022, as president of the International Committee of the Red Cross, you have stood at the forefront of the global effort to protect human life and dignity in times of war. And in that role, you have been a principled and unwavering voice in defense of international humanitarian law and the Geneva Conventions, treaties drafted in 1949 by the International Committee of the Red Cross itself, acting as their guardian. And your leadership did not emerge overnight. It is grounded in decades of service to multilateralism and diplomacy. As a member of the Swiss Diplomatic Corps, as ambassador, as head of Switzerland's division for the United Nations and other international organizations, and later as Assistant Secretary General of the United Nations and senior leader within UNDP. Alongside your professional career, you have always remained deeply connected to academia, studying philosophy, economics, and international law, and teaching global governance, because ideas, too, shape the world. And under your leadership, the ICRC has carried out complex and often dangerous operations across the globe, reuniting hostages and prisoners with their families in Gaza and Israel, providing life-saving assistance to millions in conflict zones such as Ukraine, Sudan, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, evacuating civilians, restoring access to health care, and facilitating dialogue in fragile peace processes, including in Colombia. Tragically, all these efforts have not been without sacrifice, including the loss of humanitarian workers' lives. What distinguishes you is not only what you do, but also how you speak, especially in these days. You have consistently reminded states of their obligations under international humanitarian law to distinguish between civilians and combatants, to balance military necessity with humanity, and to prevent unnecessary suffering. You have done this face to face with heads of states, ministers, and military leaders, not from a position of power, but from a position of principle. As you so powerfully once stated, there are 100 steps to peace, and the first are humanitarian. And more recently, protecting hospitals is not weakness, shielding civilians is not weakness, allowing aid to reach those in need is not weakness. Upholding international treaties established on the rubble of the Second World War is courageous. This honorary doctorate therefore also recognizes more than your very impressive individual career. It also honors the indispensable contribution of the International Committee of the Red Cross, its 160-year mandate rooted in the Geneva Conventions and the countless professionals of the Red Cross and the Red Crescent's movement who work, often unseen, often in danger, to uphold humanity in war. By conferring this honor, we affirm that international humanitarian law matters, that academic engagement with these principles matters, and that leadership anchored in human dignity remains not only relevant, but essential. Mirjana Spoljaric, I've practiced this also many times. Egger, we honor you for your courage, your conviction, and your unwavering commitment to humanity. Thank you. By the authority vested in me by law and in conformity with the decision of the Board of Deans, I hereby confer upon you, Mirjana Spoljaric Egger, the degree of Doctor Honoris Causa and all the rights deriving therefrom by law and tradition. And as evidence of this, I present to you the degree certificate signed by the rector and myself and affixed with the Great Seal of the University. And I put on your shoulders the kappa, which signifies the honor bestowed upon you.
Your Majesty, Rector Magnificus, President Lechet, Mayor, Governor, dignitaries from government, academia, and beyond, dear students, and dear friends of Maastricht University. It is a great privilege to receive this honorary doctorate on behalf of the International Committee of the Red Cross, at the time when our shared humanity is both tested and needed. It is also an honor to stand before you as Maastricht University celebrates its 50th anniversary and as the first organization to be awarded an honorary doctorate by this distinguished institution. The ICRC, the Netherlands, and Maastricht share a long history. The Netherlands took part in the 1863 conference that led to the founding of the International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement. As a result, the Netherlands Red Cross Society is among one of the oldest in the world. In the run-up to that conference, Gustave Monnier, who went on to become the president of the ICRC, wrote to General Coulomb to invite him to the conference. The Major sent a letter back in which he wrote, "Rest assured, sir, that every man of goodwill applauds with all his heart and soul to the holy work you are beginning." That letter is safely stored in our archives. 1 year later, the Netherlands was among the original 12 states to sign the first Geneva Convention in August 1864, which made it compulsory for armies to care for wounded soldiers, regardless of what side they fought on. The Netherlands was also the 4th country in the world to ratify it. Today, the ICRC is working with Maastricht University to strengthen standards for how humanitarian organizations process, use, and protect personal data of the people we serve. I share these examples not to give you a history lesson, but to demonstrate how we are connected by a very rich history, one that spans from the very foundations of our work to addressing the challenges of today. We must now work together as leaders, academics, humanitarians, and citizens to preserve the life-saving legacy of those who came before us. Distinguished guests, in my 3 years as the president of the ICRC, I have watched the number of armed conflicts climb year after year. Today we count about 130. This is more than we recorded a year ago and twice as many as we did 15 years ago. The contagion of conflict is spreading, and the red lines that preserve humanity in war are eroding. States are now preparing for war with a sense of inevitability. Hard-won gains to ban indiscriminate weapons, such as anti-personnel mines, are being reversed in the name of self-defense. States are racing to develop drones, cyber capabilities, and autonomous weapons systems. Algorithms are creating echo chambers that allow dehumanizing narratives to take hold. The law of armed conflict is being twisted to justify killing rather than to prevent it. Destroying the enemy at all costs is being masqueraded as an effective tool for peace. But judging by what we see in Europe, in the Middle East, or in the Horn of Africa today, the world cannot afford limitless war. Not in number and not in conduct. Without limits, war ceases to become a tool of last resort. It becomes a permanent condition, undermining the international rules-based order and with it, global stability. State leaders should not allow the world to slide where might makes right. Because where the foundations of global peace and stability fracture, barbarism replaces the rule of law. We are all, as politicians, practitioners, researchers, experts, or as private citizens, at the moral crossroads. Will we allow the barriers that prevent brutality in war to be dismantled? Or will we demand that even in war, there are red lines that are never allowed to be crossed? Everyone will say it is wrong to rape, to torture, to target innocent civilians, to starve children, to destroy hospitals, power plants, and water supply. The Geneva Conventions embody what we all carry in our own moral compass. Standing up for the rules of war, quite simply, is standing up for the most basic principles of humanity. Every day, ICRC staff in conflict zones across the world defend the legal protections afforded to people during war. In this work, we never take sides. never put humanity on a scale. We speak with all warring parties to advocate for the rights of people affected by war, so we can ease suffering across front lines. Because a human life is a human life with equal rights, no matter which side you are on. Dismissing recognition of the other as deserving the same human dignity would ultimately mean accepting an end to a rules-based order which makes us all safer. Where there are no rules, no one is safe. Because war kills, and because wars fought without rules shift from wars between combatants to wars against innocent civilians, against those least able to defend themselves. On the other hand, respect for international humanitarian law saves life. It brings hope in the darkest of circumstances. And most importantly, it preserves pathways back to peace by affirming that humanity does not end when war begins. There's no lasting peace without upholding the normative space that respects and protects our human dignity. Today, I share this honorary doctorate with my colleagues across the world and the visionary individuals whose efforts gave us the Geneva Conventions and the International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement. I share it with millions of young Red Cross and Red Crescent volunteers across the globe, and many of them have lost their lives in the last years only. The Geneva Conventions and the Red Cross belong to all of us. They are a global public good. They are expressions of a consensus agreed by all states to preserve life, protect dignity, and uphold humanity. By defending them, we defend the very prospects for peace and stability in a world that is today at risk of being devoured by war. I thank you.
Today, as chair of the jury, I have the honor of presenting the UM Dissertation Prize. This prize recognizes an exceptional doctoral thesis and celebrates research that pushes boundaries and has an impact far beyond academia. The award, made possible by the Nanne de Vries Professors Fund, includes a prize in the amount of €3,500 and a beautiful sculpture. The dissertation prize is awarded alternately to the Randwijk and inner city clusters of faculties. This year, the prize goes to the Randwijk cluster, including the faculties of Health, Medicine and Life Sciences, Psychology and Neuroscience, and Science and Engineering. 4 dissertations were nominated after a pre-selection by the faculty boards. After careful review and deliberation, the jury reached a unanimous decision. The 2025 Dissertation Prize is awarded to Dr. Uyen Chau Nguyen from the Faculty of Health, Medicine and Life Sciences for her dissertation multimodality imaging in cardiac resynchronization therapy.
I'm a cardiologist at Maastricht University Medical Center, and I'm now further specializing in clinical electrophysiology, which is a subspecialty that's dedicated to the implantation of pacemakers, ICDs, and ablations. The main aim of my research is to improve pacing therapy in patients with heart failure, and we do that by gaining better mechanistic insight using computer modeling and complex ECG technologies. Not every patient is the same, so our research provides more insight why patients do not respond very well to pacing therapy, but it also gives us information on how we can improve that or tailor the treatment to the individual patient. One of my favorite innovations is we developed a 3D model that we could really show the implanted cardiologist on how to implant the pacemaker. So it was really from technical development to clinical application. This PhD research was also some kind of a reflection of my own personal path. So I started out as a clinical technologist, as an engineer, and later on I decided that I wanted to become a clinician, which I am today. So in the beginning of this PhD research, I was doing computer modeling and looking more at the technical side of the project. And at the end of the PhD research, I was more conducting clinical studies, which I'm more doing today. So it's also a reflection of my personal growth, I think, as a person.
Dr. Uyen Chau Nguyen, may I invite you to come forward? Dr. Nguyen, the jury was deeply impressed by the scientific excellence and the clinical relevance of your dissertation. The work not only advances science, but it also makes a real difference in people's lives. And that is why this prize is so well deserved. Congratulations. The sculpture. It's a sculpture. Let's give it here. Thank you. The prize. And then the flowers. Can I take these? Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot. Wait, let's shift. Yeah, Dr. Nguyen, could you briefly tell us what this prize means for you? And I will keep it.
Thank you. Well, I'm a little bit speechless. Well, I was not a very good student in a traditional way, so I was not a fast learner and I was rather quiet. And I was often told to be more outspoken and to be more visible. But early on I met my teachers, and I know one of them, Frits, is watching today, who looked beyond that, and their encouragement gave me the confidence to become a scientist and a cardiologist, which I am today. And there were often moments when I was not really sure what I was doing or which way to go. And there were times when I also felt that I was wondering whether my work was good enough. But this prize gives me the confirmation that I'm on the right track. And it also shows me that growth doesn't have to be fast or very visible, but can happen slow and steady. And that not good enough doesn't have to be an ending, but it could be not yet or still becoming. So I'm very grateful to my PhD supervisors, Frits Prince, Angelo Auricchio and Kevin Vernooy, to my partner, my children, and my family for the continuous love and support, to my students and also to my patients for the daily inspiration, and for Maastricht University for believing in this journey. Thank you. Thank you.
Dear guests, education runs through everything we do as a university. It guides our choices, shapes our mission, and connects our community. And in this anniversary year, it is only fitting to pause and recognize the strong educational foundation we've built together. And that brings us to the Wienand Wijnen Education Prize, an award that celebrates colleagues who have made an outstanding contribution to teaching and learning at our university. According to the jury, the nominations clearly demonstrate that even after 50 years, the educational model pioneered by our university remains vibrant and forward-looking. As the university that introduced problem-based learning, we continue to lead in the innovation and educational vision and practice. Colleagues, both individually and in teams, keep advancing our education in ways that reflect who we are and what we stand for. I am very proud of that. So let us now discover, because it is a surprise, together, who this year's winner is.
The Wienand Wijnen Education Prize, named after one of the founders of the university, is a prize for people at whose efforts to improve teaching has earned them a place in the spotlight.
We nominated Nicole for the Wienand Wijnen Education Prize because she is among the most inspirational educational leaders we have ever seen in this faculty.
I think she's someone who really implements the CCCS principles on all levels. So from her own sort of tutorial groups all the way to the curriculum reform of the European Law School and thinking about how can we best implement the CCCS principles across the entire curriculum.
One of the most remarkable things about the European Law School reform that Nicole leads is her vision. It's a vision on the translation of Maastricht's problem-based learning and the CCCS principles into education, but also into how students learn. So she is involved, for example, also in the furniture that we place in rooms and how students sit in a room in order to foster collaboration and to make sure that students really engage with each other in the learning process.
Nicole's impact on education at is for me both transformative and kind of traditional. She manages to take the core values and the philosophy that as a faculty and as a university we have always had, but she then manages to also transform those and take them into the future with her vision. To do so in a way that is at the same time kind and clear, I think that exemplifies Nicole for me.
She proceeds on an evidence-based basis. And that means that she really thinks about her vision, but also how to translate her vision into concrete proposals.
So I do think that Nicole really exemplifies, demonstrates, and shows how the core values of can be implemented in a program, and I think in that way she can serve as an example for other faculties and other programs.
Nicole, congratulations with this honor. It is so well deserved.
Congratulations so much. I think this is so fantastic and so well deserved. And as you know, I really have learned a lot from you.
So a huge congratulations to Dr. Nicole Cornet. As mentioned, through vision, determination, and strong academic leadership, she guided her team through a full renewal of the European Law School program. Her work is a powerful example of educational innovation at our university and beyond. So now I would like to ask Nicole Cornet to come forward and receive the prize on stage. Dear Nicole, I hereby award the Wienand Wijnen Education Prize for this year to you. Very well done. We have a beautiful little sculpture. There you are. Now let's see how you are going to do this. There you go. We do it for the... we will keep it together. I will keep your flowers, and then we will take a picture. There we go. Congratulations. And if you stay with us just for a minute, because we would like also to hear from you what this prize means to you.
Thank you so much also to my colleagues for their warm words today. I'm deeply moved by that and immensely grateful for the individual recognition of what is really a collective effort. And I have the privilege of working with so many dedicated educators within the faculty and the university. And for me, the prize is a recognition of a choice that I made to commit my career to education and ensuring that we prepare our students for a future which is in a world that is complex, disrupted, rapidly changing. And society entrusts us with an important educational task. And so, with the profound challenges that we face, including threats to institutions, to the rule of law, it's vital that we continue our educational goal of ensuring our students can think critically and independently and have the courage and the resilience to be able to act with grounded judgment. And so I received this prize not just as a personal honor, but as an acknowledgement of the important but also the courageous educational work that lies before us all. En ik dank de universiteit daar zeer voor. Dank je wel.
Thank you and congratulations once again, Nicole. Now, I mentioned it already a few times. This is a historic ceremony and one we will certainly remember for at least the next 50 years. And it is therefore a great honor to conclude this celebration with the anthem, Ode aan die Freude. performed by André Rieu and his Johan Strauss Orchestra, together with the Mastreechter Staar, which even includes a few alumni and staff. André, we are deeply grateful to you for contributing to this anniversary. You are an icon of our city. And after 5 decades, I dare to say that our university has become one too. So, André, may I please ask you to come forward. What a festive closure of this wonderful celebration. Thank you so much. Dear guests, dear students, dear colleagues, this brings us to the end of the ceremony for our 50th Dies Natalis, a milestone and one we are proud to share with you. Today, we reflected on our past, celebrated our community, and honored those who shaped our university across education, research, and society. In that same spirit, we are also working on a small book that tells the story of our university through 50 meaningful objects, capturing where we come from and what has defined us over the past 5 decades. The book will be published soon, and I felt it was worth mentioning it here. I wish to express my special gratitude to His Majesty King Willem-Alexander for honoring us with his presence. Your attendance makes this anniversary truly special. I also wish to express my appreciation to Dean Doutzenberg and the Sint-Servaas Basilica for their gracious hospitality today. And I think they also definitely deserve an applause. Now, following this ceremony, His Majesty will continue with a separate program, during which he will engage in conversation with representatives of the university and the city. Thank you all for being part of this festive day, and for the energy, ideas, and dedication you bring to our university every single day. Before we conclude, I warmly invite you to join us for the reception at Minderbroedersberg. The drinks and appetizers for this occasion are prepared by Ria Joosten. And for now, I kindly ask you to remain seated just for a moment longer. His Majesty the King, together with the Governor, the Mayor, the President of our Executive Board, and several others will leave first. And after the cortege has departed, you are invited to leave the church either via the same door as the cortege or via one of the doors on my right-hand side to collect your coat. And with that, I now officially conclude this academic ceremony.